time actually, so I'm kind of taking it all in, and as you walk around the stadium in the concourse and everywhere in the media area where the fans are as well, it just feels like there was an atmosphere in this stadium before anybody came in. It's just an amazing place, and I'm so glad to experience it.
And also, you know, England playing tomorrow against Serbia, but we're actually seeing the first English men at the Euros this tournament, because we've got Michael Oliver, the referee, Stuart Burton, Dan Cook as the assistants, Anthony Taylor is the fourth official, and then there's a Luton fan on VAR, Stuart Atwell.
You're so rude, aren't you? Hey, so rude.
Brighton have incidentally announced Fabian Hertzler as their new men's first team head coach to replace Roberto De Zerbi. He signed a contract until June 2027. But on the first full day of Euro 2024, the most difficult group of them all is underway in Group B. It could be B for brutal. Certainly is if you're Albanian. You're with the defending champions Italy. You've got the Nation League winners in Spain, and then you've got Croatia, who finished third in the World Cup 2 years ago. Give you the two teams in a moment, as Spain in their red shirts and royal blue shorts are playing from left to right as we look, against Croatia in their white and red checkered shirts. Although they've increased the checkered, there are larger checks on the front of those shirts, but everywhere you go you can just see the Croatian support banking away around the right hand side. So Simon is in goal for Spain, Carvajal, Lenormand, Nacho and Cucurella at left back. Cucurella's first competitive appearance, incidentally, at left back for the Chelsea defender. Pedri, Rodri and Fabian Ruiz in the midfield. Nico Williams, Morata, the captain. And Lamine Yamal, who's actually creating history because he is the youngest player ever to appear at a European Championship. 16 years and 338 days young. As for Croatia, Livakovic is in goal. Back four of Stanisic, Šutalo, Pongracic and Gvardiol at left back. Modric, Brozovic and Kovacic, that experienced midfield. Maya on the right, Kramaric on the left, and Budimir through the middle. And what noise is being generated by the Croatian supporters. Absolutely deafening inside the Olympic Stadium here in Berlin, live on 5 Live. But Williams picks it up, tries to thread that ball through, and it was blocked. But certainly, in terms of the atmosphere, living up to every expectation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's three quarters, 80. But I've got to say 80% Croatians in here. Everywhere you look, there's a little two pockets of the Spanish to our left-hand side, but the noise is being generated by those checkered shirts non-stop. On the way here, they filled the streets. They were singing. There were singing battles between the Spanish and the Croatians as well. Atmosphere outside was brilliant, and inside it's even better.
Early ball towards Morata. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. It's always a pleasure to have your company. We talk about the amount of Croatian supporters who are wearing the red and white check shirts. There is a group behind the goal as it arcs its way behind that blue tarmac, who are wearing all black in the Croatian end as Cucurella goes in pursuit of Maya. Remember, it's a repeat of the Nations League final last June. It was 0-0 in Rotterdam. Spain triumphed on penalties, but this is the group stages, and it's such a tough group. The winner will play a third place side. The runner-up will play the runner-up of Group A, but then, crucially, you're also then, as a runner-up, in the England and France half of the draw. So the incentive is quite clear to win the group, whether it be for Spain, Italy, the defending champions. We'll have commentary of that later on at 8 o'clock against Albania, or indeed Croatia. However, I'm sure they'd still take a point as well. Zlatko Dalic, just don't lose. That will be the motto for both of these two sides coming into this enticing game, as Croatia with an early throw on that right-hand side. Modric just stabs it away, and then the ball is spread out. They tried to get Gvardiol forward actually on this near side, the left back, and in that shaft of sunlight, Unai Simon just panicked there as he passed the ball towards Nacho. You might recall in the last 16 encounter in Copenhagen, that mistake that Unai Simon, he let a Pedri back pass from about 49 yards go underneath his feet for a bizarre own goal. There's a cross from the right-hand side by Yamal. Picked up, shooting opportunity maybe for Fabian Ruiz, but instead he slid it through, and diving on it all in yellow in the sunshine is Livakovic.
It was Pedro actually that played that little ball through to Ruiz, and Ruiz returned it, but Pedro stopped his run. It was on. It was a little 1-2, a little give and go, but Pedri stopped his run. He would have been in on goal.
It was you're right, it was the Pedri, well, you did the commentary, you don't need me to tell you, it was the Pedri back pass, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Here is Le Normand, Carvajal, who has missed the last 2 Euros through injury. Scored that goal in the Champions League final, of course. His Real Madrid teammate, Nacho, floats it out towards Cucurella. And then the ball now is picked up by Rodri. Let's not forget, Rodri, in the World Cup 2 years ago, was playing as a central defender. Not in that position that he is so adept at now. As Yamal picks it up, enters the penalty area right-hand side, pulls it back, Carvajal plays it in low. And then it was cleared away by Pongracic in the centre of that Croatian defence. But Spain are seeing a lot more of the ball. That, of course, not a surprise as Nacho accelerates from the defence. And it's, that's going to be the game plan.
Yeah, it will be. Spain will want to try and draw out those Croatian defenders and midfield players, but they're not getting sucked into it at the moment. Croatia, they're allowing Spain to have the ball in the middle of the park. They're sitting deep in that shape.
Ball over the top to Williams, tries to get their left-hand side of the penalty area, and it's seen back behind. You talk about the possession stats. I had a chat with a fellow commentator, Derek Reyes, working for an American TV company, and he was telling me that he'd seen a stat in a Spanish newspaper that since Spain played Russia in 2008, and on that occasion Russia had a greater percentage of the game, ever since that game at the Euros in 2008, which was in Switzerland and Austria, wasn't it? 136 games since, as Spain are attacking. Morata with the shot, saved by Livakovic. 136 games since, Spain have had a higher percentage in every one of those 136 games.
Wow, that is incredible. It doesn't surprise me. It surprises me that they've done so many games, but that's an amazing figure, by the way. What a stat, by the way. Yeah. Derek, you've got to get yourself out more, mate. Come on.
It's not even his. He said he's seen it in a Spanish newspaper.
It is.
But when he told me, I thought, you don't mind, I'll claim that one. Here is Carvajal. Back it goes to Rodri on the halfway line. BBC Radio 5 Live, also live on BBC Sounds. Earlier, in the first of our 3 games that we brought you, Hungary 1, Switzerland 3. After, of course, Germany beat Scotland 5-1 last night. There is a quarter of the pitch that is in the shadows as Cucurella, on the fringes of those shadows, passes the ball forward. They look now towards Morata. It was Fabian Ruiz who had tried to pick out the run of his captain, who is much maligned, and yet you look at his scoring record for Spain, he's averaging a goal every 2 games.
I think that with Morata, he seems to get a lot of chances, but he doesn't take a lot of them. He seems to miss the target or choose the wrong finish. His stats are good, game for goal stats, but I just feel he should be scoring more, in my opinion. He's a good quality centre forward.
Ruiz passes the ball out to Williams. Comes on the inside. Fabian Ruiz puts his left foot on the ball. Rodri takes it in. Every outfield player momentarily then was actually in the Croatia half. Nacho just drops back over the halfway line into Spanish territory. Ball is lifted over the head of Budimir, who's leading the line for Croatia. And now Carvajal will, with the outside of his right boot, carve a ball into the centre circle. Then it goes infield, aimed towards Pedri. Croatia win it back. Maya right-hand side coming back on that flank. That was a nice little turn. And then the ball goes back to Livakovic. I quite like that one from, I think it was Schüttelo, who's going to now climb in the air and heads it away. Helped further on by the head of Kovacic. There are, of course, a number of players who are playing against each other from their club sides. We've got Rodri up against Kovacic and Guardiola, Modric against Nacho and Carvajal. There's no Laporte, incidentally. He is out with a muscle injury as Michael Oliver, the English referee, gives a free kick to Spain in a central area, 0-0, and we're in the 10th minute.
Yeah, I just feel that Croatia are going to have to be patient here. Spain, as you've mentioned already, with that start, they're happy to have the ball and keep it and just try and draw somebody out. Croatia, concentration levels have got to be high, and this is where Spain can be really, really clever. They'll have something up their sleeve with free kicks like this in this area.
Well, it's centrally, midway through the Croatia half. Spain free kick, 0-0 on 5 Live. Williams chips it in, and it goes all the way through. It's too far ahead of the advancing red shirts, and in the sunshine it goes out for a goal kick. Yeah,
that's an awful ball really. Williams trying to sort of bend it in towards that far post, but it's far too straight, and you've got to get the ball wide. When you've got a free kick in the middle of the park, try and get it wide so you've got a better angle, and then you give your teammates a better chance of getting on the end of it as well.
Steve said a little later on we'll be hearing from Gareth Southgate. If on this busy Saturday and you've got lots of things to do and you miss it at whatever point in between that Italy-Albania game that we're anticipating, of course you've always got the Football Daily that will provide the debate, the reaction and the interviews from inside, not just the England camp but also the Scotland camp. It's available on BBC Sounds 5 Live Football Daily, always featuring on focusing on the Euros, as here we are on this second day and it remains 0-0 here in Berlin. Ruiz, Rodri along the ground, ball from Nacho to Cucurella, only his 5th appearance. Did have a good end to the season with Chelsea, started the last 14, but his first competitive bout as Ruiz tries to spread it, not afraid to go direct. Maybe that's the one change from the new coach De La Fuente. You know, in the past they'd pass, they'd try and pass the opposition to death.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, with the pace of Yamal or Williams, they can go a little bit more direct.
Yeah, they don't mind that, and that's what they may have to do during this game.
Turnover there, and this is Pedri with a shot. That was excellent defending by Pongracic, who just snuffed out the chance. He was wheeling back the opportunity to shoot, and then the Wolfsburg defender just came in straight away and got the good block in for Croatia. Here is the little maestro, Modric, on his 176th appearance. Little layoff by Maya. And now an opportunity with Kramaric dropping ever so deep. Ball played forward by Šutalo. Out on that right-hand side is Stanisic. Back then with Modric. This is probably the first sustained spell of passing that we've seen from Croatia, 12 and a half minutes in.
Absolutely. El Centro Campista, that's where the game's going to be won. It's going to be won in the middle of the park. I do believe that Modric will just dictate it. He'll have his baton out like the conductor. He'll tell his midfield players when to go forward, when not to go forward. And he just seems to have space all the time. He's such a great player to watch.
By the way, I know why they selected you for this game here in Berlin.
Go on.
Well, how many stairs did we have to climb to get to the commentary position?
Absolutely, no bedrooms in sight though, Devon.
Croatia edging their way forward. And then it's lifted out to this near side. Guardiola is there, but Carvajal will win a goal kick off the shins of the Manchester City player. I was just following you.
And rightly so. And rightly so. What I have noticed, though, down the left-hand side, the nearest side to the technical areas and the dugouts, that Guardiola's going forward and Yamal is not going all the way back. We would normally call that cheating, which means that you're staying up the pitch, let Guardiola go forward, and as soon as you get the ball back, that's where the space is. Put it in that space for Yamal.
That's what they did with Chrissy Waddle when he played at Marseille. They just said, you stay up there, and we'll get the... Don't you trap back, we'll get the ball to you. In fact,
yeah, correct.
I remember Chris telling me that the first time he was tracking back in one of his first games, going, what are you doing? Get up there and just stay up there.
I bet he was delighted with that, the one, like, let me stay up the pitch.
Guardiola passes the ball inside. Pongracic, central defender, to Josip Šutalo, who's had his first season at Ajax, and now here is an opportunity for Yamal, who goes into the penalty area, and then he just hit a brick wall. And I've got to say, Pongracic has now on 2 or 3 occasions been so alert at the back for Croatia.
I think he has to be, because as I've just said, Gvardiol was getting back in then to try and get back in and mark Yamal. And Pongracic came in and just got his knees there, really, got his knees in the way of the shot.
German-born, first major tournament for the 26-year-old central defender, as Livakovic, all in yellow, places the ball down for this goal kick. 0-0 still here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and on the World Service. We've been playing for a quarter of an hour here in Berlin. Croatia playing from right to left as we look. Ball goes forward. And Simon, the goalkeeper, comes out of his penalty area. Kramaric was in pursuit of that. Urged on now by the Croatian support. Maya cuts in off that right. And then takes a deflection. That'll go for a Croatia throw on the right-hand side, level with the penalty area.
Yeah, better ball from Budimir. I'm sure Kramaric would have got on the end of that one, but poor ball in. That was half a chance for Croatia there, in on goal.
Now it's Croatia's turn to have every outfield player in the Spanish half. Gvardiol in this near side, into the centre circle. Šutalo, Stanisic, the right back. Ball played forward. Croatia now. Budimir goes forward to try and occupy the 2 central defenders. Brozovic on the halfway line. Just passes the ball back inside. Now it's across the back a little bit more for Croatia, and then Morata, the Spain captain, will just run towards Pongracic. With a diagonal ball though, they've found Kovacic in the centre circle. And Kovacic passes the ball out towards that right touchline. Left now for Brozovic once again. Forward towards Maya, little layoff, the return ball towards Maya. Croatia now start to advance with a little bit of menace. Kukureya gives away the free kick. Michael Oliver says that's a Croatian free kick, almost level with the penalty area, right-hand side. It's goalless on 5 Live.
Yeah, that's unnecessary as well from Kukureya, really unnecessary. Didn't really need to make the challenge. Fernandez was there. They had a 2-on-1, just showing down the line, forcing around the outside. The little man, Luka Modric, is standing over this now, and it's got to be one of those feelings where you think, oh no, he's on the ball, this could go anywhere.
But look at the aerial threat that Croatia are going to pose here. Gvardiol, Pongracic, Šutalo, Stanisic. Croatia have a free kick, 0-0, just outside the right corner of the penalty area. Modric is poised. Spain have got everybody back. Modric actually leaves it, and it was wrapped in then by Maya, and it's been repelled and out of play for a throw. Disappointing when you've got so many people that they couldn't beat the first man.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Your centre halves go up, and you know, 40-50 yards they go up, the ball doesn't even reach the areas it should do. I wasn't expecting that from Croatia or Luka Modric.
They keep saying that Lovro Majer is going to be eventually the long-term replacement for Luka Modric, but for the time being he tends to play on the right-hand side. But you know, what a task to live up to. You know, you've got to fill the boots of Modric. You've got no chance.
I think their boots that will never be filled, to be honest with you. Dano, I just believe that he's worlds apart when it comes to a footballing brain. Great to watch, longevity, respected.
His debut was in 2006 against Argentina. This is his 5th Euros, as we are still watching this game to the backdrop of Croatian voices, generating a wonderful noise here in Berlin. 19 minutes played, Spain 0, Croatia 0. But for a population of under 4 million, how they produce such excellent results in tournament football, primarily in the World Cup. Their record at the European Championship is not as good as the World Cup, but certainly their resilience, the determination and their spirit is being embodied by the Croatian travelling support.
Yeah, they seem to just peak at the right time, this Croatian side, and they have done that many times as well.
Quick free kick, rolled back by Kovacic. I've been to the Maksimir Stadium in Zagreb. It is one of the atmospheric stadiums in European football. It is truly intimidating. And here, this evening in Germany, it feels as if we are in Croatia as Carvajal plays the ball early. He was looking for the run of Kramaric. They get a throw on the halfway line. Didn't score too many goals if you look back at the World Cup in Qatar. 8 goals when they finished third. Needed penalties, of course, to see off Japan and Brazil, but they stay in games.
Yeah, they do, because they've got, as we spoke to Guillaume Balaguer as well, they've got players that know how to manage a game on the pitch. They'll make decisions for the manager on the pitch. They'll chat about it at half-time and after the game, but they don't mind the responsibility of making a decision on the pitch to keep you in the game.
And they're certainly seeing a lot more of the ball as well, as Livakovic, the goalkeeper, spreads it out towards that far side, the right. And the right back, Stanisic, will float it over to Guardiola, the left back. Over the halfway line he comes. Just drops back a little bit. His Manchester City teammate Kovacic now takes over. Finds Šutalo. Brozovic drops deep, almost filling in as a right back, because Stanisic has actually continued that run over on that far side. He's actually playing ahead of Meyer at the moment, so they're not exactly coming here to shut up shop, Croatia. Guardiola likes to get forward too. Kovacic just over the halfway line. Spain have got everybody back behind the ball. Ball played forward. Meyer looks for the run of Budimir. Unai Simon was quickly off his goal line. Slides along the surface and gathers it in.
Yeah, I think it was the correct ball, just kind of overhit it, needed a bit more bend on it in towards his teammate, but it was just going the other way. Keeper read it, keeper was in a good position as well. Danger gone.
Meyer lifts it, Kovacic returns the ball to Meyer, now picked up by Kramaric, former Leicester City player. Scoops the ball back. Guardiola has to drop back inside his own half. That was almost an errant ball, but it was kept alive very well by Šutalo, the central defender, as he stepped forward. And they're certainly looking very comfortable on the ball here. Brozovic, they're working it neatly. Out towards the right-hand side. Stanisic delivers the cross. Budimir with a header. He was challenged well by Lenormand. And in the end, it goes behind. But listen to the response from the Croatian support.
A great ball in as well. Budimir had his arm up at the far post. He was waiting for his teammate to pull his leg back on that right-hand side. It was an outswing on Budimir, just timed his run perfectly, just couldn't get it on target. That's a danger, because he knows what he wants. Give him the service.
Say many times that we're privileged to do the job that we do. And when you go to iconic stadiums, as Croatia with a high press force Spain back, and it goes out for a goal kick. And I remember doing the Champions League semi-final, the Milan derby 2 years ago, and you're thinking, I just want to hear a goal, to hear that explosion of noise. I want Croatia to score. It's deafening now, but I want to, as a genuine supporter, I want to hear the noise.
Yeah, as a genuine supporter of football, it's something that you'll savour for the rest of your life, because if it had a roof on it, it would come off, I'm pretty sure.
Offside against Williams. And also, I think there will be goals, because you said it on the
Five Line
Social.
There'll be goals, don't worry about it, everything's fine. You stay there, people, there'll be goals.
But it's 0-0 at the moment.
Thank you.
23 minutes played. We're bringing you more coverage tomorrow, of course. Poland, Netherlands. Dion and myself will be heading to Hamburg. And then England in their opening game. Serbia, England, as if you need any reminding. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. John Murray and Matt Upson will be on commentary duties for that one. And all the build-up from Gareth Southgate, as well as Harry Kane, on the 5 Live Football Daily. As Croatia get a throw on this near side, the left. Guardiola in no real hurry to take it, with Zlatko Dalic who a fourth major tournament for one of the greatest coaches that Croatia has produced. The dark-haired 57-year-old in his black suit, matching his dark hair as he has his arms folded now. He must be baking in the sun.
Yeah, it's hot down there, isn't it? On the way here, we're walking in, the sun's beating down, we're in t-shirts, he's got full suit on, tie, everything looking very, very smart.
The flare has been let off in the Croatian end away towards our right-hand side. As it drifts, we'll soon be smelling the sulphur. But chances have been at a premium.
Yeah, there's not been much action in either third, either box, to be honest with you. No chance. Keeper's not been diving about anywhere, so as we predicted, in the middle of the park is where the ball's been for most of this first half.
Well, Dion talking about goals. In 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two, there's been at least 5 goals scored. But at the minute, as they meet for a 4th consecutive Euros, we've got a bit of a stalemate. But that's because of the jeopardy in the group. Nobody wants to lose this opening game. And Italy, the defending champions, will be thinking, we've got a real opportunity to put a marker down against Albania at 8 o'clock. You'll hear that on 5 Live. As Morata wins the ball for Spain. Ruiz passes the ball out to Williams. On the left-hand side, level the area. Cucurella not utilised on the overlap. And the ball, as it drops, as it switches to the right, Lamine Yamal is unable to bring it down under control, and it goes away from him and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, the two young wingers for Spain seem to have an understanding as well, because when Yamal's going down the right-hand side, Williams is staying away, and it's sort of reversed roles. When Williams has gone across the ball, Yamal seems to stay far post, so you normally want your opposite winger to go in, but they must have an understanding to keep that width, just in case I need you.
I must say, my first major tournament with 5 Live was 20 years ago, Portugal Euro 2004. Very, very lucky that we get what we refer to as the Bible.
Yeah, we do. It's amazing, isn't it? We all get one. It's basically a book for the BBC where you've got all the stats about every player, every football player that's going to be gracing the grass. Managers, stadiums, fans, everything you need to know about the Euros is in this book, and I just wanted to mention the people that have put it together. They never get a mention, and they deserve a mention. Matthew Hobbs, Tom McCoy, Tom White, Ant Pilling, Ella Sterling and Chris Collington. I think you all deserve a round of applause, and I'll buy you a beer when I get back. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I did my own prep for the group games, and I struggled to get it all done before I left for Germany. And I think I did 10 teams in the group stages, so I would second that for the people that you've just mentioned. BBC Radio 5 Live, 27 minutes played, and it's still 0-0 under the clear blue skies here in Berlin. Pongracic, central defender, along the ground, finds Guardiola, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Yamal was back goal side on that occasion. Guardiola was forced to go back. Livakovic gets it out from his feet, the goalkeeper, passes the ball forward. Brozovic now takes over. Brozovic midway through his own half. Pongracic lets it come across his body onto his left foot. And then Kovacic will take over. That experienced midfield. It's worth reiterating, 372 caps for that midfield trio of Croatia, more than the entirety of the Spanish starting 11 of 311. Ruiz slides the ball through. Morata in on goal here for Spain. Morata enters the penalty area and scores! The first Spanish player to score at 3 Euros. The captain leading from the front, pierced the Croatian defence, and Morata slots the ball home, and Spain lead Croatia by a goal to 0.
Stay down the middle, that's all you've got to do as a centre forward. Morata, one-on-one with the keeper, stays in between the two centre halves. I'm going to look at the screen, I think it's Guardiola that may have played him onside. Lovely little ball down there, I'm not quite sure who played it, but he is definitely onside. He knows what he's got to do, he's made his mind up, goes from his right foot to his left foot, brings it into the centre of the goal, makes the goal so much bigger, and just slides it to the keeper's right foot. It's a brilliant finish. it's composed, it's a captain's finish.
36 goals now on his 74th appearance. He was the joint fourth highest scorer with David Silva, but he edges past David Silva now, and he is 2 behind Fernando Torres. But the weight of the pass, Morata was onto it. He wasn't going to miss.
No, he wasn't going to miss. And the good thing about that goal as a centre forward as well is Morata was in an offside position when Croatia had the ball. When the Spanish midfield nicked it back, he got himself onside. It's so important to do that, to give yourself a chance of scoring a goal. He worked hard to get onside. He got his rewards.
I think it might have been Pongracic who was the one who actually played him onside.
Yeah.
And Dion Dublin delivers the prediction. You said there'd be goals. There might be another one here. Here is Kovacic. Kovacic to the edge of the area for Croatia. He shoots left-footed, and Unai Simon makes the save away to his left-hand side. Great for the game from a neutral that we've had a goal.
Absolutely, and like you've said, I think both these sides have gone into this game wanting to win it, obviously, but making sure they don't lose it. Now the game's opened up, it's going to be bigger, there's going to be more spaces within the pitch for players to play and pick passes. Interesting now.
So Spain are leading by a 1-0 here on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds. 14 minutes to go to half-time. And there are 2 chunks either side of the marathon gate of Spanish red, who are now up and out of their seats and waving the Spanish flags as we look away towards our left-hand side, where that shaft of sunlight comes through the marathon gate and is on the near side of the pitch here inside the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. And Morata with the goal. And Croatia, well, we talked about their ability to stay in games. They're going to have to come forward, and it means that Spain on the counter-attack as the ball is launched long. Yamal is onto it. Now he cuts inside, checks back onto his right foot, tried to pass it to Williams, who was in a central area. Croatia temporarily blocked it. Yamal has picked it up. Pedri, edge of the area, he goes square. Fabian Ruiz looks for a shooting opportunity, does get the shot away and scores! And Spain has scored 2 quick goals and take a stranglehold of this game here in Berlin. He was so patient, eventually saw the opportunity, and Fabian Ruiz gets it away, and Spain now lead Croatia by 2-0.
That's a brilliant finish. I've got to say, the composure of Fabian Ruiz there to make sure that he didn't rush his finish. He took his time. There was Croatian players diving in. He went round 1, he went round 2, got it onto his left foot, again opened up the goal, and then he shot across the keeper. It's a really good finish. It's another composed finish, and the thing about this one is he didn't panic one bit. In on his left, in on his right, bam, he's about 2 yards away from the penalty spot. Might have taken a slight deflection, but he deserves his goal.
He's been absent since Euro 2020, back after a 3-year absence. Plays for Paris Saint-Germain. Only scored the 1 goal actually in 31 appearances this season for Paris Saint-Germain. But the left-footed central midfielder off his left boot, got it away well. And all of a sudden, they've scored 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes of Spain. And Croatia have been left shell-shocked.
Yeah, they have. They had a lot of the ball beforehand, Croatia.
Here is Guardiola forward now, edge of the area, Guardiola inside. Might break towards Budimir. Good save by Unai Simon, rebound. Maya hits the side netting. Unai Simon was away down to his left-hand side. Brozovic had got the shot away. Came to him very, very quickly, just on the edge of the area. Simon was down sharply to his left, and we could easily have had a goal at the other end.
It's a really clever finish, or attempt at a finish from Brozovic. He's on the edge of the box. He just tries to, he opens up his right foot and tries to side foot it into the keeper's left-hand corner, the right as he looks. And it's a lovely palm away from the keeper.
Spain then lead 2-0. And Croatia were looking to try and reduce the arrears as we edge our way towards half-time. 11 minutes to go to the break. I think for one of the rare times in this first half here in the noisy Olympic Stadium, we can actually hear Spanish voices.
Yeah, they're buoyant. They've got their hands on each other's shoulders and they're bouncing up in unison. The key to this game so far is the wide men. It's Williams and Yamal. They're making the pitch very big and they're forcing that Croatian back four, sometimes a back five, to spread all the way across the pitch, which is leaving lots of gaps in between the defenders, i.e. the first goal from Morata. That's where the space was. They used it.
Ball played forward, hit very, very long towards Williams, and it's forced out by Schüttelo, and it goes out for a Spain corner kick. Spain on that far side, the left, playing from left to right as we look. 2 goals to the good. Croatia have got the red and white shirts back inside the penalty area. Just look for the run of Carvajal. Remember that goal that he scored, that first opening goal in the Champions League final? He makes that little run towards the near post. It comes in now, and there was a head on that from Lenormand. It's appealing that it should have been a corner, but instead it will be a goal kick that Croatia try and take quickly. Livakovic to Gvardiol, but the red shirts back for Spain very, very quickly. Yeah,
they get back into their shape really quickly. I mean, Croatia have got to keep the ball better in this last, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes where they've had the ball, but they just keep the pass that they need to play, it's going astray at the moment for Croatia.
Had Morata entered the penalty area before he finished his for the first goal?
I think he may have just.
Because that means that Spain's last 52 goals have all been scored inside the box since Raúl back in 2000 at the Euros against Slovenia.
So do you want it to be inside the box or outside the box, Dion?
Do you want to take the stairs or do you want to get the lift? Yamal back to Carvajal. The Olays now from the Spanish support, leading 2-0 here in this opening game in Group B. Nacho, strong run from the back, forward to Williams, falls to Morata, lays it out to Cucurella. He stayed down there, he was caught, I think it was by Maya, as he overhit that cross, and the bushy-haired Chelsea defender has stayed down inside the penalty area. Might just be more of a dead leg.
Yeah, I think he just followed through with his cross there. Cucurella may have caught Maya maybe on the follow through. I think he's okay. He's up on his feet again now, which is good.
So Cucurella is back on his feet and running back. They did a lovely thing on social media, if you haven't seen it, where they announced the squad, but it was their relatives who said the names. It was really done to some lovely music. It was beautiful the way that it was crafted, as Kovacic runs back inside his own penalty area, whether it be the mums and the dads, the wives of the children, brothers or the sisters. It was done ever so well on social media. Spain lead 2-0. Kovacic forward. That was a block. And the referee, because it struck Pedri in the face, Michael Oliver, because it's a head injury, has got to stop play. So there's going to be a stoppage here with 7 minutes to go to half-time. And Spain are leading by 2 goals to 0.
Yeah, and good for it at the moment. I mean, Croatia started very good, keeping the ball, that midfield there being as composed as ever. But the Spanish have just looked a little bit more potent in the final third. Again, the wingers, Morata there, just watching the replay of his goal here, which is taken so well. He does make it into the box. His last touch is a lovely finish. I think Rodri as well. Rodri's not really moving. He's literally staying on the toes of his 2 centre-halves. In Croatia, they did have two holding midfielders. Now they're just leaving Kovacic to do what he does, leaving Modric to do what he does, go further forward. Brozovic as well, he's roaming around in that 10 role, so they're having to change things a little bit now, Croatia. They need to get back into the game.
Pedri, who scored his first goals for Spain in the final warm-up game against Northern Ireland in that 5-1 victory in the Summarised Stadium in Mallorca, is led to the side of the pitch. There's just a little word there from his bald-headed coach, De La Fuente, and now has another bit of instruction for the Barcelona midfielder, 21 years of age. They've got that nice blend, haven't they, of experience and pace and youth. Sometimes I think that they've gone under the radar a little bit, Spain, when we've been talking a little bit about France and England and maybe Portugal, host Germany.
There's not been a lot of conversation about Spain, has there really? There hasn't been in-depth conversation about can they win it, can they get to the latter stages. Well, from what I've seen, the quality that they've shown, especially in their finishing, is of a very, very high standard.
Ball is cleared long by Livakovic. Brozovic helps it further forward. Modric brings the ball under control, barged off the ball by Rodri. There'll be a helping hand that held him back to his feet that Modric actually ignores there from Rodri. Need to get probably Modric on the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, he's been wandering about in great areas. They just can't find him at present.
Croatia trailing 2-0, 5 live, and the World Service here in Berlin. Croatia on that far side, the right. 4.5 minutes to go to half-time. Pongracic, the central defender, on the halfway line, passes the ball to Brozovic. Modric now will take over. Budimir had come deep. Turn from Kramaric, runs forward. Kramaric was pulled back by Rodri, still manages to find Maya. Maya with the cross, Gvardiol! Oh, to the far post, Budimir couldn't turn it in. Good advantage played, by the way, by the referee, Michael Oliver. Now he has a word with Rodri. He played the advantage, and it led Croatia to build their best attack of the half. Gvardiol down into the ground, and Budimir with an outstretched boot at the far post couldn't apply the finishing touch.
El Arbitro, what a decision that was. Let the game go, let it flow. Brilliant decision from the referee to allow that to happen. Great ball in as well, into that corridor that corridor of uncertainty. Nobody wants to touch it. Gets pulled back across by Gvardiol as well. The keeper needs to get a touch on it, otherwise it's creeping in the far post. Really, really good play.
Well, since they went 2-0 down, Unai Simon has saved from Brozovic and then got something on that doubt shot down into the ground from Gvardiol. Budimir, though, and maybe it was the touch that just took it away from him. But it was a real opportunity for Croatia that will offer encouragement, if nothing else.
Yeah, and again, that's because Luka Modric was allowed to go and play in those final thirds, and they found him with a pass this time. He just causes havoc. If he's not causing havoc himself, his position is.
Pongracic, quick into the challenge. Carvajal, short ball inside. Stumbling Rodri manages to get the ball back. Nacho, deputising for Laporte, finds Cucurella. That mop of dark hair runs forward. Williams is dispossessed by Stanisic, and it will go out of play for a Spain throw on the halfway line, far side. And we've got 2.5 minutes to go to the break. 2-0 for Spain. So we had 6 goals last night, 4 in the first game today in Group A in Hungary. Hungary won, Switzerland 3 in Cologne. And now Spain leading by 2-0. Here is Lenormand. Forward to Ruiz. Pedri able to turn. Back to the second Spanish goal scorer. Rolls it now to Nacho. Left of the centre circle. Williams makes the run. Creates the space then for Cucurella. Running behind him on that left-hand side. And Cucurella's cross. Williams was almost there. As it looped up and saving and diving forwards was Livakovic at his near post.
Yeah, it's good play again from the Spanish. Lovely sort of overlapping run from Cucurella. I think Williams knew he was coming, so Williams steps in the park. The fullback has to come in with him, which leaves a lot of space for Cucurella. They found him. I mean, he faltered out in the end, but the know-how of that left-hand side and the Spanish side is brilliant.
Is there time for Croatia to get a goal back before half-time? Kovacic finds Modric. The evergreen Croatian midfielder runs forward, gets it back from Carvajal. Passes the ball back out to this left-hand side. Carvajal's continued his run. Myers popped up on the left on this occasion. Doesn't deliver the cross. Passes the ball back inside to Kovacic. This is Kramaric, 30 yards from goal. Shoots, right-footed, and it was wayward. It was always going away from the goal of Unai Simon for a goal kick. 2-0 Spain.
Yeah, Kramaric there, 25 yards out, even 20, 27, 28. No chance he's going to hit the target there. He would not have troubled the keeper, even if he did hit the target. His teammates, 2 or 3 of them on the right-hand side, 3 in great position, sort of pushing both hands towards the ground as if to say, calm down, there's another pass in there.
When Steve Crossman said to Guillem earlier on that he gets quite animated, I've got a vision of Guillem now relaxed, smoking an imaginary cigar with his feet up.
Yes.
As the 45 minutes tick by, because Spain are in a very comfortable position as we have 2 minutes of added on time. And they lead by 2-0. And in those 2 minutes of added on time, Croatia can come forward for maybe one final attack. Kramaric on this near side the left, swings over the cross, hangs in the air a little bit, headed away, picked up by Modric. Lovely little touch with the outside of his right boot. Kramaric passes the ball inside. Kovacic with a shot. Kovacic couldn't find the curl. It just went in a diagonal path off his right boot and onto that blue tarmac behind that goal away to our left for a goal kick to Spain. Still 2-0 they lead.
I think Kovacic has gone for the wrong finish there. He's gone for the power, gone for the lacy, slightly on the angle. Maybe a bit of a bend up, curling to that top corner. Should have gone with maybe the inside of his foot rather than the laces. Got that one wrong, but I've just got to pull up that little touch from Luka Modric. The ball just comes out the sky, and I think it was Kramaric that was coming towards him, and he heard the shout from here. Lucas, or best player in the world, shouts, and he just brings it down on the outside of his right boot, just in his stride.
Ball forward, Williams is onto it. Williams with his pace has a little look up, tries to cut it back, and it's turned behind by Pongracic for a corner kick. He was aware, he was looking for that supporting run, and Nico Williams, the Athletic Bilbao forward, was looking for the run of Pedri. Is there time for the corner kick? Michael Oliver will allow it. It's taken short to Williams on this near side, the right. Ball goes back to Yamal, swings over a cross and turned in. Dani Carvajal with the close range finish. Croatia's defence switched off, and Dani Carvajal popped up with a goal in the Champions League final, and may well have got Spain off to a winning start with 3 points with that third goal here against Croatia. A long way back now for Croatia.
Carvajal is in a number 9 position, standing by the side of Morata, centre of the goal. It's a lovely little ball in, it's an in-swinger. It's going into the keeper's hands, and it's Carvajal that's the only one. I think it's a ball in from Williams. Just curls it in there, and Carvajal just stays in the box. It's the outside of his right boot on the volley. It's a lovely finish. All he has to do is get a little touch on it. The keeper's in no man's land. He scores from 6 yards out. 3-0. I know they're the team that stays in games, Croatia, but are they still in this one?
Well, it's his first goal for Spain on his 45th appearance, and Spain are 3 up at half-time. And when Germany went in at the same scoreline last night at half-time, it was just the 3rd time in European Championship history a team had scored 3 goals in the first half of a game. So, and all of a sudden, we've now had it twice in 2 days here at the Euros.
Incredible first half. It really, for 15, 20 minutes, it was looking like it may be a bit of a stalemate. I don't want to lose, you don't want to lose. The game's opened up, and for me, it's down to the 2 Spanish wingers.
What a position Spain find themselves in then. because 2 goals in 3 minutes through Morata and then Fabian Ruiz. Croatia have forced a couple of saves from Unai Simon, but that Carvajal goal could well be the one that could clinch it in first half stoppage time. Half time in Berlin, Spain 3, Croatia 0.
And Livakovic, the Croatian goalkeeper, is the last man down the steps and down the tunnel at half-time here, a good 30 seconds after anybody else. He must be wondering what on earth has just happened. The answer, Dion, Dublin, is this new Spanish style. We've been told, yes, they still keep the ball, but now they are more direct. Look at the 3 goals. Fabian Ruiz, 1 pass through to Morata. The second one from Ruiz, from a big switch out to Yamal. And then the third, get the ball in the box, and that's what happens.
Listen, Yamal and Williams may not be setting this game alight, but their positional play allows Spain to play the little passes that they need to play, and that's what we call an out ball. Those 2 wingers are an out ball. Guardiola doesn't want to stay back, he wants to go forward and make things happen. He's in 2 minds now, that's why the ball's been in behind Guardiola on too many occasions. It's all about the positional play and giving your midfield players an out ball.
They're 3-0 down. I don't think Croatia have been that bad.
They haven't been great positionally in defence. Their back 4, their line hasn't been great. That's why Morata was onside, because one defender was 2 yards or 3 yards in front of his teammate. The understanding that we spoke about earlier as well isn't there. So it's very, very important that Croatia come out in the second half. Keeping the ball's great, but you've got to get in behind that defence of Spain.
Yeah, that's true. Brilliant on the ball in the midfield, not letting Spain dominate them there, but they have been dominated at the other end. Spain 3, Croatia 0, half-time here in the Olympia Stadion in their opening game of Euro 2024 in Group B. We've still got Italy-Albania in this group to come later. Earlier this afternoon, you heard full commentary of Hungary 1, Switzerland 3. News from Brighton in the last 45 minutes or so confirmed Fabian Öztler is the new head coach. He signed a contract until June 2027. We'll talk England, Serbia, bit of T20 cricket and US Open golf after the latest news on 5 Live with Giuliano Cassidy.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Euros and the general election 2024.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Arsenal and Everton have paid tribute to their former striker Kevin Campbell, who's died at the age of 54 after a short illness. Our reporter Megan Owen is outside Arsenal's Emirates Stadium.
I've been speaking to fans outside the stadium today who say that they're just gutted to lose such a core member of the Arsenal family. And it was with Arsenal that Kevin grew up. He made his way through the youth clubs, through the youth squads, and he ended up winning the league aged just 21 years old before taking 3 cups in 3 seasons.
The Israeli army says 8 of its soldiers have been killed in an explosion in southern Gaza. It said the troops have been taking part in an operation there without giving any more details. South Wales police are telling people living near a chemical plant in Barry to keep their windows and doors closed after what they're calling a chemical incident. Several fire crews are at the scene. And the Princess of Wales has made her first official public appearance since announcing she was being treated for cancer. She joined the rest of the royal family at the annual Trooping of the Colour parade to mark the King's official birthday.
This is the story of one of the biggest football clubs in the world, Paris Saint-Germain, and how 2 teammates became bitter enemies.
They spent holidays together. Kera and Aminata was friends.
That rocked the club to its foundations and left lives, careers and reputations in ruins.
They want to stop my career.
The way the police is talking about her, it's absolutely shocking.
Join me, Maisie Adam, for sport's strangest crimes, a French football scandal.
Betrayal, plots. We've gone beyond women's football in France.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports
With Steve Crossman.
Euro 2024 Deutschland.
Tens of thousands of Croatian fans away to our right-hand side in absolute shock at what they've just witnessed. Second half commentary on the way. It is Spain 3, Croatia 0. The England men's cricket team have to win today to stand any chance of progression to the Super 8s in the T20 World Cup. They face Namibia in Antigua. Gets underway in 4 minutes time. Live coverage on 5 Sports Extra. Ellie Oldroyd is going to be watching for us what I imagine, Ellie, is going to be a very nervy day.
Yes, well, I think it made even more nervy, Steve, by the fact that the rain could well have a big impact on this final stages of Group B games for England and Scotland, because for England to progress, they need to beat Namibia and Australia to beat Scotland. If either game is washed out, then Scotland will go through at England's expense. So currently there is no play yet. There's no sign of a toss in Antigua. It's been raining quite heavily by the look of it in bursts. But I think that's the thing. Bursts is what England are hoping for, that they can somehow, in between the showers, get a game on. But I think in about an hour's time, an hour and a bit's time, they'll start reducing the number of overs available. So minimum overs available to play a game is 5 aside. So yeah, fingers crossed for the weather, and England keeping their fingers crossed that they can actually repeat the form that they showed against Oman on Thursday night when they absolutely demolished them.
And is it basically the fewer overs that are allowed, the more difficult it is for England because they need a sizable margin of victory?
Well, I think we're not worried about net run rate now. That is the good news. Net run rate is pretty much out of the equation. There is a very, very tiny possibility that Scotland could lose to Australia in a super over, and England could only beat Namibia narrowly, in which case net run rate might be a factor. But basically, the equation is more or less, I think you can feel fairly confident that if England win against Namibia and Australia beats Scotland, so, if you're an England cricket fan, you'll be cheering for Australia in the early hours of the morning in St Lucia, odd though that will feel. Then that is the equation. But anything the either way, if Scotland were to beat Australia, or if there is a washout in either game, then they share the points, so it's 1 point each for an abandoned game, which is what happened in the England-Scotland game, the first game of this group stage for both of those teams. And some people would say that maybe Scotland had the moral victory. Oh, let's not talk about moral ashes, moral World Cups or anything like that. But it would have been a difficult task for England to chase the runs that they would have been set if that game had been completed. I can see the umpires wandering around on the outfield at the moment in Antigua. Anyway, covers may be coming off, but it looks like there are some puddles out there as well.
Right, Ellie, thank you very much. We will cross our fingers for some play, and Scotland fans listening, you will be crossing your fingers for that game getting washed out, I imagine. So rain there. It's been raining in Nottingham at the tennis. Have you got some play, Paul Scott?
We do at the moment. The weather has caused so many issues this week that we still don't know our semi-final lineup, even though the final is meant to be played tomorrow. Ons Jabeur, the top seed in Nottingham this week. She's into a third set on centre court right now against the 2016 champion Karolina Pliskova. After a break apiece in that final set, they're back on serve 4-3 to the Tunisian. The winner will face France's Dion Parry in the semi-finals, whenever they may be. We do hope to have time today for our first semi-final, weather permitting, of course. That will be an all-British encounter on centre court at the conclusion of this quarter-final. The defending champion Katie Boulter will take on Emma Raducanu. Boulter has never lost to a fellow Brit.
Golf next, US Open third round underway at the Pinehurst Resort. Live coverage on 5 Sports Extra later tonight. Let's go to North Carolina. Correspondent Ian Carter is there. The question we've been asking all day, Ian, which we'll start to answer shortly. Can anyone stop Ludwig Ober?
That is the question for the weekend, because he carries this one-shot lead into the third round, and at 5 under par, 1 ahead of Bryson DeChambeau, Thomas Detry and Patrick Cantlay, all at 4 under par, with Rory McIlroy 2 shots back. I don't think it's going to be the world number 1 and Masters champion Scotty Scheffler who'll be stopping Ludwig Ober over the weekend. He's marooned at 5 over par, just missed a really good birdie chance at the 12th. Also at 5 over par is the Englishman, Tommy Fleetwood. He's level par for the 11 holes he's played today.
BBC Sport website, 8:30 p.m. tonight. 5 Sports Extra, once the cricket is finished, for live coverage of the golf. Tomorrow night, England begin their Euro 2024 campaign against Serbia in Gelsenkirchen. That's where we find correspondent John Murray. England presser on the way. John, have we heard from the Serbians?
Yes, I'm actually just standing right outside the arena of Schalke just now, so you might be able to hear the wind whipping around the stadium. It's overcast. The flags are flapping away at the top of their flagpoles, and that's because actually the Serbian team are currently training inside the stadium, and this is what they call the closed part of the session, so we can't watch this part of the session. But this time tomorrow we will be just over 2 hours away from kick-off, won't we, for England's first match against Serbia. So a little later on, in fact over the course of the next hour or so, the plan is that we'll be speaking to Gareth Southgate and to Harry Kane, so you'll hear that a little later on. And actually I've just sat in the conference with Dragan Stojkovic, the coach of Serbia, one of their most famous former players. Used to play with Chris Waddle at Marseille, actually.
What did he say?
He said all of the things that you would expect to hear, I think, from a coach in those circumstances. So you know, things like this: England, one of the favourites, but they've prepared as well as possible. They're ready. The players can hardly wait. They are tactically and physically ready. There are no objections, no issues. The kind of thing that I've heard many times before. But one thing I hadn't heard before was he referred to, or rather a questioner, one of the questioners, referred to comments in the past by a well-known former coach of Yugoslavia who said that as far as he was concerned, English defenders are always clumsy with big heads. What did Dragan Stojkovic think of that? To which, again, he said all of the right things, really. He said, I don't think it's fair to use those expressions. It's an extraordinary team, but we'll look for a way to beat them. And actually, if you remember back at the World Cup, their first match was against Brazil, and they lost 2-0. So back in 2022, their first tournament match was against one of the favourites. So there's a little bit of talk about what they've learned from that. And actually, Dragan Stojkovic said the big difference between Qatar and now is, he said, it felt like we carried a small hospital to Qatar because of the issues with injuries and such like. And he said we just don't have those issues now. And as for the question as well that we've been talking about during the course of the week, you know, could we see Mitrovic and Vlahovic play in the same team? It sounded as though that could be a possibility, but obviously he wasn't saying what his team was going to be.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see Ivan Perisic in the second half here, because he's out warming up in full Croatian kit. He's just smashed the ball into the back of the net. Croatia have got to do that 3 times unanswered to get a point. John Murray, thank you very much. Flat bat from the Serbia head coach there, the kind of flat bat that England can't afford at the T20 World Cup. Also tonight, 8 o'clock, full commentary, third game of the day, Italy against Albania. John Akers, you will be commentating on the defending champions then.
Yeah, a very different, younger looking Italian team than the one that lifted the trophy 3 years ago in that shootout we all want to forget at Wembley against England. Chiellini and Bonucci have retired. They've got a new manager in Luciano Spalletti, who replaced Roberto Mancini. He was poached by the Saudi national team 9 months ago. Only been in charge for 8 games, Spalletti, but saw them through qualification, did an incredible job winning the title with Napoli last year. It's whether he's going to have enough goals in the team, although how many times have we said that before, major tournaments before, surrounding Italy. Albania qualified top of their group with former Arsenal and Manchester City defender Silvinho in charge. They only conceded 4 in qualifying, likely to sit deep, low block, but their head coach says they respect their opponents but fear no one. I'm going to be doing the game with Paul Robinson, and it's going to be interesting to see how the defending champions start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the problems that Italy have had is scoring goals, isn't it? I think they've got a heavy reliance on Scamacca up front scoring the goals. The number 9 and scoring goals has been an issue, and Albania don't concede many goals, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Italians first of all line up, because they've used a back 3 and a back 4 in qualification to protect that back 3 at times. And the Albanians, as we know, they'll sit the low block, they'll make it difficult, it won't be pretty, and they'll try and get a result that way.
Paul Robinson, who'll be with John Akers then for full commentary of Italy versus Albania. Once we're done here at the Olympia Stadion, we'll be handing you over to Mark Chapman over in our Berlin studio for that. Silvinho, by the way, the Albania head coach, and as John was saying, former Arsenal man, of course, who's been awarded the Golden Decoration of the Eagle and Albanian citizenship in his first year as head coach, which goes to show how popular he's become. Zlatko Dalic, the head coach of Croatia, hasn't been as popular of late, and he certainly won't be popular with the tens of thousands of fans here in the Olympia Stadion at half-time, because Spain have run riot in this first half. They lead Croatia by 3-0. Dion, Dublin alongside us, they have been irresistible, Dion.
Amazing last 25 minutes of the game. Kept the ball in the middle of the park, played some really good stuff, but like we said before, they're happy to go a little bit longer, mixed it up a little bit. Croatia have kind of been caught out, had a few jabs on the chin early doors. Croatia, I thought they were going to get the guard up, they didn't, they left themselves wide open, conceded 3 goals.
I really do think we're going to see Ivan Perisic, because he's fully kitted out, unlike all of the other substitutes wearing their bibs. We'll wait and see. Whatever happens, they need a second half miracle. Ian.
Yes, they certainly do, and they're probably fearing the worst, because their heaviest ever defeat was against Spain. It was in a Nations League game in Elche in 2018, and on that particular occasion they were 3-0 down at half-time. And the worry is, I mean, they've got to go in search of goals, but also there might become a point where they're thinking damage limitation, because they can't suffer a defeat similar to what Scotland suffered at the hands of Germany last night.
Yeah, you know what, it could go that way if the Spanish keep playing this way, and the wingers keep making the pitch incredibly big, and Croatia don't change anything defensively especially, then yes, Spain could score the fourth, and then it is definitely over then.
Well, Michael Oliver, the English referee, gets us back underway here in Berlin, live on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds, and neither side has made a change at half-time. So Spain leading 3-0 in their red shirts and royal blue shorts, have Unai Simon in goal, a back four of Carvajal, Lenormand, Nacho and Cucurella, Pedri, Rodri and Fabian Ruiz in the midfield, Williams on the left, the youngest ever player now at a European Championship in Lamine Yamal, the 16-year-old from Barcelona, on the right, and the captain Alvaro Morata, who leads the line. His 7th goal, incidentally, in the Euros. He scored 3 in 2016, 3 in 2020. So only Michel Platini and Cristiano Ronaldo have scored more than Alvaro Morata in the history of the European Championship. As for Croatia, Livakovic is in goal, Stanisic, Šutilo, Pongracic and Gvardiol is the defence from right to left. A midfield 3 of Modric, Brozovic and Kovacic, Kramaric on the left, Maya on the right, and Budimir leading the line for Croatia in the white and red checkered shirts. But Spain are in such a handsome position, and for Luis de la Fuente, their coach who replaced Luis Enrique after the World Cup, he couldn't have wished for a better start.
No, and the way he's set his team up is absolutely spot on as well. It really is. I mean, Croatia can't really go with a full press, because they're not bothered about the full press, because they're happy just to go long anyway. So if they don't give the full press, they'll play short passes, which we know the Spanish can do very well. So they've adapted.
That's the familiar voice of Dion Dublin on BBC Radio 5 Live as a turnover in possession, and Spain are coming forward again through Morata. Morata to the edge of the D, to Cucurella. Cucurella now leaves it for Ruiz, but he's been dispossessed, and Spain try and win it back. It'll be a Croatia throw that they try and take quickly on this near side. I mean, that is now the worry, that Spain have got the ability, and because, as we've seen now, they've got to go the chance to go direct, they could score further goals.
Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter how you get the result, especially in the group stages. If you have to get the results in order to get into the position that you want to be, which is getting out of the group and qualifying. The Spanish at this present time are playing in a way that Croatia have no answers to. I mean, Kovacic in there's hardly had a kick. Modric, really, possibly the best footballer on the pitch, hasn't really had a kick of the ball, hasn't had a chance to affect the game.
Well, their next play on Wednesday, Croatia against Albania, Spain against Italy in Gelsenkirchen. Of course, the best possible coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live. As there's a Spanish player down, and it is Carvajal on that far side. It was Kramaric who might have just caught him with an elbow.
Yeah, I think Kramaric is actually just falling to the floor after the coming together. Maybe caught Carvajal in the face. But he seems okay. He's a tough cookie, that man, let me tell you.
Well, after missing out with injury in the previous 2 Euros, he certainly made up for it with his first goal for his country. Played in all 8 of the qualifiers as well. And there's Carvajal, who scored that decisive penalty in the shootout success against Croatia with that 3rd goal that might just have taken this game away from Zlatko Dalic's side. The next goal in this second half will be absolutely vital. As Stanisic passes the ball back to Livakovic, swings at that right boot of it, goes high downfield. Budimir beaten in the air by Cucurella. Pongracic might have overrun that. Spain with Rodri try and win it back. Pongracic, I thought, got a foot into the challenge there, and it was a fair one, but Michael Oliver's penalised the Croatian defender.
Yeah, I think he went through through Rodri actually to get the ball. Yeah, just caught Rodri's left ankle and then the ball. So man before ball, definite free kick.
When Croatia lost to England at Wembley in their opening game in the last Euros, that was their first defeat in an opening set of fixtures for them. They're competing. The 1-4 drawn 1 and lost 1 prior to today, as Modric with a good ball finds Kramaric, comes on the inside, pulls it back, Vardiol shoots left-footed, and the block sees the ball go out of play on that far side. Again, a glimmer of hope for Croatia to cling to as they trail by 3-0. Lovely ball by Modric. They'll want him on the ball, they'll want him to try and prise open this Spanish defence with passes like that. As Brozovic, Stanisic, Maya, back to Brozovic, who now plays his football out in Saudi Arabia after 8 years at Inter. Far side, Pongracic for Croatia. Still they have their huge backing of the vocal support of the Croatian fans. Admittedly not as much of a din as it was at the early stages of the first half. A little bit subdued, understandably, as their side are trailing 3-0 6 minutes into the second half here.
Yeah, the Spanish are working really hard, you know, out of possession. They're sort of hunting in packs. They're kind of waiting for Morata to go, and then they go in behind him on like a half press. They're all in the right positions. It's like a domino effect. One goes and they all go.
Stanisic down the line on this right-hand side. Not much of the pitch now is bathed in sunshine. We still have glorious conditions though here on a very warm day in the German capital. Maya takes over, good advantage again by the referee, and then the turn, and there was just a little bit of a stumble in the edge of the area, and it's allowed Spain to bring the ball away, and Morata was almost through the middle. Ball has been picked up by Pedri, coming forward. Pedri, Yamal had a chance then, and Livakovic kept it out with a strong right hand. Just tried to forcefully slide it under the goalkeeper. That would have finished off the Croatians without any doubt.
What a save from Livakovic. Yamal just trying to steer it with his left foot into that far corner. Livakovic is going the wrong way, he's going towards his near post. He had to go back across the goal, palms it away. Excellent save, should have been 4 though.
Well, De La Fuente, the coach, said yesterday in the press conference, describing this 16-year-old as almost a gift from God. This is only his 8th appearance as the ball goes behind for a corner kick. Spain have a corner. So this is his 8th appearance, and he's now been involved in 6 goals. He's scored 2 and he's had 4 assists. He's certainly making an impact on the international stage. This exciting, skillful and extremely fast young winger. Corner taken, short. Williams to Yamal, goes on the outside, pulls it back, oh! Went right across the face of goal. That could have gone anywhere. As it is, it's gone out of play on the far side for a throw to Croatia. He played it, it came off the hip of Morata and could easily have gone in.
It's a really intelligent finish or attempt by Morata. But Yamal's pace, from standing still, he goes past Kovacic like he's not even there, and just gets to the byline, pulls it back. Unlucky again.
Spain leading by 3-0. Commentary still to come on BBC Radio 5 Live of Italy against Albania at 8. Tomorrow 3 more games. Poland, Netherlands at 2. Slovenia, Denmark at 5. Serbia, England at 8 o'clock tomorrow, as Perisic is going to be coming on. Played in both the warm-up games, didn't start. He's been forcing his way back to fitness after an ACL injury. Of course, he's left Tottenham Hotspur now. But Perisic, who is the second top goal scorer for Croatia, adding even more experience to this Croatian side for what will be his 132nd appearance as Kovacic out to Gvardiol. Gvardiol left corner of the area, infield, Kovacic takes over, pulls it back, Budimir might fall here towards Stanisic, bit of a scramble, Unai Simon gets it away with a punch, and Spain look rattled there.
They did look rattled. I've got to say though, they threw red bodies in front of the ball every time there was a shot on their goal. There's a lovely break from Croatia. Kovacic gets to the byline, pulls it back, and then that all hell breaks loose there. There's shots on the goal. There's red shirts diving in. They put their bodies on the line. They're working so hard. Kukurea with the first one. Really should have scored. Good couple of chances.
Budimir is the player to come off. Ivan Perisic is the player who comes on, and he gets a roaring ovation from the Croatian support as 3 flares are being lit. As I look away towards our right-hand side, where the bulk of the Croatian supporters are housed. 10 minutes into the second half. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and on the World Service. Spain still lead by 3-0. But Stanisic, I think it was Kukurea who got a good block in there.
Yeah, first block was Kukurea.
He had 2 or 3 nibbles with Unai Simon. His friends sometimes get him mixed up with Unai Emery. As the pace of Yamal, blistering, leaves the Croatian defence there in his wake, right-hand side. Plays the ball inside to Williams. Williams uses his strength. Referee Michael Oliver almost got in the way. Tried to let the game flow. He's given a direct free kick here to Spain. Yeah. Seeing that there'd been a foul. Yeah. This is within shooting distance.
Absolutely. La falta. Modric pulling back.
They're taking it quickly. This is Carvajal too quickly. Michael Oliver wants it played back.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever going to get away with that one.
Do you not think in that instance then, if they waste the opportunity, they should just let
That's their chance.
Yeah. Or do you think that would have been unfair on Croatia?
Well, if the referee's given them an instruction not to take the kick until the whistle, then they have to come back. But sometimes you can ask for no whistle and just go with it.
Well, it's a central position. It's, I'd say, 33, 34 yards out from goal. Williams or Yamal, the 2 exciting youngsters in this Spanish starting 11. One with the left foot, one with the right. Who's it going to be? It's Yamal who hits it into the wall. Comes back out to Carvajal on the edge of the centre circle in the Croatia half. Kukurea. Forward, Williams. Can't get past the right back, Stanisic. Back heels the ball to Modric, plays it early. Kramaric has now gone into a central area. Perisic is playing on the left for Croatia. They've lost the ball again. Williams picks it up, running on his toes, comes inside. Ruiz helps it on its way. Had to get that right, Gvardiol. Stepped out of defence to prevent it from reaching Yamal, and did exactly that, to carry the ball forward to the halfway line. Maya, still on the left-hand side. Ball infield. Kovacic finds Modric. Space on this near side for Stanisic if he wants to utilise him. He does so. Kukurea as a result backpedals. Modric now takes over, plays the ball to Stanisic. He was a little flat-footed. Stanisic was too stationary.
Yeah, he didn't really read the 1-2. It was coming back to him. It was a give and go. It was on. He would have been in. Switched off. Can't afford to do that.
Been a good game though, hasn't it?
It has been a good game. Really good game. Yeah, some really good football being played. What surprised me about the Spanish side is they're aggressive. The little melee we had in that Spanish box a minute ago, where there was red shirts putting their bodies on the line. I haven't seen that from the Spanish side in a long time. Aggression, organisation.
Dani Olmo is going to be coming on. He's replacing Pedri. This is Dani Olmo, who used to play for Dinamo Zagreb. Almost 6 years that he played his football in Croatia. Plays now, of course, at RB Leipzig here in Germany. But Dani Olmo comes on for his 34th appearance. I think there was a few whistles there in the direction of Dani Olmo from the Croatian support. If there's a few of the bad blue boys of Dinamo Zagreb cheering on their nation here today, as the ball rolled out underarm by Livakovic. Spain are leading by 3-0 as they press from the front with Olmo to Perisic. Olmo gets a challenge in there, runs out of play for a throw far side. Half an hour then remaining here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Home of the Euros, home of the election. Whether it's the football or the politics, we will keep you fully in touch over the next few weeks, both back at home and live here in Germany. Maya, infield. Kramaric over the Stanisic rather, over the halfway line. Kramaric now on the right, delivers a teasing ball, and then cool defending by Carvajal, just to nod it back, knowing that Perisic was coming in behind him to knock it back to Unai Simon.
Yeah, Carvajal there, that's his positional play. He knows the ball's coming in from the right side. Therefore, he has, as a right-sided defender, he has to come in, make sure that Perisic can't get across him. Lots of time, chest it back to his keeper. Cool and calm as you like.
It's getting lively with the Croatian ultras away towards our right-hand side as two stewards in their orange luminous jackets have to extinguish 3 more flares that had been set off as the smoke drifts into the air under the clear blue skies as the sun continues to shine here in Berlin, and it's certainly shining on Spain as they lead by 3-0. They've only lost the opening game of the Euros once in their previous 11 tournaments. That was 1-0 against Norway in Euro 2000. 1-5, drawn 5 in the other 10. And the olays from the Spanish support as their side still have this comfortable lead. Unai Simon switches it high, ball to Cucurella, does well to actually get his head onto that. Williams now is in pursuit of it. And it's set up nicely for Josip Šutalo to clear the ball away at the back for Croatia. Nacho trying to link up with Cucurella on this near side, and it'll go out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I think it's been very clever tactics from the Spanish. I mentioned how they're trying to keep the pitch big, which means that Croatia have more ground to cover when they're trying to get the ball back. You've got a lot of experience in that Croatian midfield with Kovacic and Brozovic and Modric, but they haven't got the legs to get about the pitch, so you're kind of eliminating 3 players by having a pitch that big, because they can't get anywhere near those Spanish players at the moment.
Just over an hour played, 62 minutes, Spain still lead 3-0. Šutalo at the back to Pongracic. He comes forward now. Header in field. Ball played back to Kovacic, who accelerates, goes past 2 Spanish players. Forward ball, might reach Maya. Cucurella again did ever so well. The left back on the cover, tracked Maya every step of the way. As a free kick was taken quickly by Spain, and they've given it away. Stanisic, Kramaric, low ball into the penalty area, cleared by Lenormand, out for a throw to Croatia on this near side that they have to take quickly. Modric looking to try and create some magic, curls over the cross. Carvajal with the back header away, picked up by Perisic, left-hand side of the penalty area. Yamal puts him under pressure, forces him to go back. We're going to be seeing a double change very, very soon for Croatia. Zlatko Dalic has got to try and salvage something from this, but the odds are really stacked against them. We're going to be seeing coming on Luka Sucic, who plays, he's a midfielder for Salzburg, the Austrian champions. And then the other player who's going to be coming on is Mario Pasalic from Atalanta. Played every qualifier, but mainly as a substitute. Meanwhile, Spain are attacking. Yamal, great little run by Yamal, enters the penalty area, still with the ball at his feet. He could be one of the players at the tournament already. The way that he's just so direct, so exciting to watch.
Yeah, the whistles. It's because Morata went down. Morata actually went down before Yamal got the ball in the final third, and Yamal didn't put the ball out because he thought he had a chance of scoring. The whistles are out. Morata needs some attention. He may be coming off actually, Morata.
Hard to think that he's only 16 years of age, Lamine Yamal.
No, he looks incredible, doesn't he? He's very smooth with the ball at his feet. He had 3 Croatian defenders to take on. He was happy to do so. Very, very nearly created a chance out of nothing for himself.
Modric is coming off and Kovacic is coming off. So Luka Sucic, 21-year-old midfielder, who was an unused squad member in the World Cup in Qatar, comes on for his 8th appearance, and Mario Pasalic comes on to replace Modric. But in many ways, they might be thinking, we need to save Modric for the next group game against Albania.
They might be thinking that. They might be thinking, well, let's just keep some energy in those legs. This is not a game for Modric. Pitch was too big, not been on the ball enough. Kovacic has tried his best to get into the game, hasn't worked for him either.
Spain are going to make a double change as well, but Croatia take the throw and prevents that double substitution from De La Fuente to be made. We're approaching the midway point of the second half on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds, where Spain are leading Croatia by 3-0. Pasalic passes the ball forward. They work it out to Perisic on the left. Perisic enters the penalty area left-hand side, cuts the ball back, edge of the area. Carvajal can't get there, and then Olmo hits the ball early and forward, and he was looking for Yamal, but Yamal on that occasion was 10 yards short of the halfway line.
Yeah, he was just in a defensive position there. Yamal, he was on his heels a little bit. That was a decent ball from Olmo into the space where he should have been. Just switched off for 2 seconds there, the young lad.
Perisic with the cross, scooped up by Unai Simon. So Mikel Moreno waits to come on. Had that spell at Newcastle United when Rafa Benitez took him to the northeast, and then he was sold to Real Sociedad for just over £10.5 million. He's won the under-19 Euros, he's won the under-21 Euros in 2019, and at Real Sociedad he will be hoping he can now complete the set. And then Mikel Oyarzabal, who also plays for Real Sociedad, is going to replace Alvaro Morata, the Spanish captain, who got the crucial opening goal. Oyarzabal, actually, by the way, he scored 4 of the 10 goals in the 2 warm-up games. A hat-trick against Andorra and a goal against Northern Ireland. So Oyarzabal is certainly a striker very much in form. And then I'm looking to see who came off for Marino to come on. It was Nico Williams. So that's just to try and shore things up. They've still got the pace of Yamal, who at some point you would think is going to get the goal, where the youngest player in a European Championship will then become the youngest goal scorer in a European Championship.
He's not short of confidence. He's not short of anything when it comes to talent, by the way. He looks about 6'2", 6'3". He's got pace, right foot, left foot, can take players on. Seems quite intelligent as well with his positional play.
7 goals in 50 appearances for Barcelona as they were runners-up in La Liga. As the ball goes over the head of Perisic on that far side, he's complaining. Croatia with just over 20 minutes. Not going to realistically happen, you wouldn't think. As the ball played back to Cucurella. Olmo on this near side to Ruiz. Looks for the return ball to Dani Olmo, who's continued his run. Level the area, cuts inside onto his right boot. Maya now comes across to try and win it back. In that game that you covered when they last met at the last 16 in Copenhagen, 5-3 of course it was after extra time. Croatia on that occasion had taken the lead through that mistake from Unai Simon. They came from behind when they were 2 down, didn't they? Although they came from twice from behind.
Yeah, they did.
But not when they were 3 goals behind.
No, I'm not seeing any of the signs of that being repeated, to be honest with you. I think you mentioned it, damage limitation might be the one here.
Mario Pasalic got that goal to take it into extra time. He is on the field of play, but Spain, you just sense, have wrestled back a little bit more of the control. Although, you know, I told you about that stat about the percentage.
Yeah.
At the minute, they have had less of the ball than Croatia, 47%. So we could be seeing Spain for the first time since that Russia game in 2008 winning a game with having less of the percentage than that of the opposition.
That'll change in a minute, don't worry about that. That'll change. The Spanish are just starting to squeeze that accelerator again, moving the ball a little bit quicker from side to side.
They're going to make an attacking change. Bruno Petkovic is going to be coming on as the ball is out to Olmo on this near side. This is Group B. We've got every game covered for you here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Olmo tries to thread a ball through. France will be in action in a few days' time. Lots of podcasts are available, not just necessarily sporting ones either, or footballing ones through the BBC Sounds, but there is one about the French one, the sporting giants Kylian Mbappe. It's a 6-part series that you can certainly find through BBC Sounds. And certainly looking ahead to tomorrow's action, we'll be hearing from Gareth Southgate and Harry Kane, who'll be talking to the media in Gelsenkirchen ahead of that opening game against Serbia tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Ball scooped forward, headed back by Rodri, comfortably away from Perisic. Hasn't looked a happy camper since he came onto the field, Perisic.
No, I think he's waving his arms about because some of the passes that have been trying to find him and the runs just haven't been to his liking. Looks a bit disgruntled over there on the left-hand side.
I would think this would be for Kramaric, indeed it is. So Andrej Kramaric only had the 20 appearances at Leicester City after a £9 million move back in 2015. Blimey, that's nearly 10 years ago. Petkovic is going to come on for him. So he'll play through the middle once again in the vain hope that they're going to score 3 goals in 18 minutes that remain. His record for Croatia, it's 11 goals in 38 appearances. Scored 18 goals for Dinamo Zagreb, the champions of Croatia in the season that has just gone. But crucially for Croatia, they haven't at least conceded any more, because they would have feared Spain cutting loose in the second half. Perisic delivers the cross, it's a high one, downward header, picked up by Šučić. Pasalic rolls the ball inside, and then Rodri able to come away with it, passes the ball forward, played back there by Oyarzabal. Out it goes to Lamine Yamal, nice cushion touch with the right boot, strokes it backwards, and the red shirts of Spain keep the possession. Dion, Dublin.
Yeah, Croatia, they seem to have the ball in really good positions, but doesn't seem to be a structure to their play. Doesn't seem to be a shape to their play when they're going forward. Very much, I'll pass to you pass to me, I'll move and find another space, whereas the Spanish seem to have the right positions at the right time. Right pass.
Olmo found a little bit of space, runs forward, still going. Olmo shot charge down. In the end, it's picked up by Livakovic. They actually played their opening game, Croatia, here in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin in the World Cup in 2006. They lost by a goal to nil against Brazil on that occasion. They only picked up 2 points in the group stages, and in this difficult Group B, 3-0 down, with games to come against Albania on Wednesday, and then they finish off against Italy, the defending champions, in Leipzig. Italy, who are in action tonight. Commentary from 8 o'clock on 5 Live. Olmo, out of play it goes, couldn't keep it in play. And there are 16 minutes remaining. But it's not happening for Croatia.
No, it's not at the moment. And I've been impressed with the two centre-halves as well, Nacho and Lenormand. Centre-halves have been very, very good. Rodri hasn't moved from the toes. A nice little triangle there of stability for Spain. Allowed Carvajal to go forward, Cucurella to go forward. Those three have just stayed, and the keeper.
Dalic said a good start is crucial. Their worst fears are being realised here in Berlin as the Spanish support wave those Spanish flags once more as we look away to our right-hand side. 3 points in the bag, almost. Goal difference looking healthy already, with games to come against Italy and Gelsenkirchen, and then finishing off against Albania. They rank outsiders, not just obviously in such a daunting group, but throughout the whole tournament of the 24 teams that are taking part. Albania, a formidable task it is for them even to finish third and to maybe try and squeak their way into the knockout stages. Foul given away by Lenormand, and that will be a free kick to Croatia just outside the centre circle. Maya now in a central area, but apart from that scramble, haven't really created too much in the second half.
No, they haven't. They've got themselves into good defensive shape. Croatia, when they get the ball, they're kind of all over the place.
Perisic keeps the ball in play on the left-hand side, delivers the cross, and the goalkeeper, Unai Simon, must have given the shout, because Robin Lenormand left it for him when you're thinking he's going to deal with that, and in the end it went straight into the arms of the Athletic Bilbao goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's good communication. Centre-half and keeper knowing each other. Big early shout sorts it out.
Now the Spanish support have been setting off a Mexican wave away towards our left. I would say when you sight offside against Yamal, I would say when your team's 3-0 down, and bearing in mind they probably occupy 2/3 of this vast arena here in the Olympic Stadium, I don't think the Croatians are going to play ball and join in.
No, I'm just watching it now, and the Croatians, no, and it stops. It's great to see. All the Spanish fans are having a go. Croatia saying we're not having any of that, thank you. You
can see who are the neutrals. Well, actually, those who are not wearing a red and white checkered shirt.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I don't think you were allowed to leave Croatia. Oh, mistake by Unai Simon to Maya. Opportunity here for Croatia. Is that going to be a penalty? Yes, it is. Because Petkovic had the opportunity to put the ball in, and then he was just tripped by Rodri. Rodri's been shown a yellow card, and a penalty has been awarded. Unai Simon closed down by Maya. Now, isn't that the denying of a goal-scoring opportunity by Rodri? He's tripped him. If he doesn't trip him, Petkovic knocks the ball in.
I think there is contact there, but he actually doesn't trip him. There is contact, but he goes down. Why didn't he? He's got a chance to put the ball in the back of the net, put it that way.
But I'm thinking, why isn't that a red card?
Isn't that
Well, the penalty's been awarded. Stuart Atwell will be having a look at that penalty, and also, do they look to now to see if
So he's given Rodri a yellow card, and he said penalty.
Because he was the attempt to play the ball. Well, this is an opportunity now for Croatia with 11 minutes remaining. Bruno Petkovic from the penalty spot against Unai Simon. Who did ever so well in the penalty shootout against Spain in the Nations League final with 2 penalty saves. Petkovic, though, runs up, and Unai Simon with the goal, the rebound, tucked in. Petkovic, as the ball was delivered back across the left-hand side, Petkovic was there, the penalty was saved, but Croatia have still scored through Petkovic, because the ball was pushed out to the far side, it was played back towards Petkovic, and Croatia have got a goal back, 3-1 to Spain.
Yeah, it's a great save, to be fair, Unai Simon. But as I looked at the replay there was a couple of players in the box before the ball was kicked. Keeper might have been off his line as well. All kinds was going on. It's a lovely save, but goes straight to a Croatian player. Petkovic is there. 6 yards out, middle of the goal.
The goal's been scored. Oh, they're looking at encroachment, maybe. Stuart Atwell, all of a sudden, is a man now under scrutiny. He's had to check the penalty, and they are checking for potential encroachment. Hence the whistles, the jeers of disapproval from the Croatian supporters.
Yeah, I think they may have a case. There might have been 2 or 3 players in the box before the ball was kicked, and maybe from the very brief pictures we've seen of that replay, the keeper might have been off his line as well, so it's got to be retaken, I think.
The penalty under review, been confirmed. It'll be an indirect free kick, and the goal does not stand, and Spain still lead by 3-0.
Wow. Wow.
I think it was Perisic
on the far left-hand side, yeah.
And it was he who delivered the cross. He was the one who'd made a late run, the encroachment. So drama. Michael Oliver, not exactly popular amongst the Croatian support right now. But with 9 minutes remaining, Spain lead Croatia by 3-0. And they had that glimmer of hope that, just like those flares, has now been extinguished.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think there's any chance now of Croatia getting back into this game at all, because Spain really, in the way that Spain do, should keep the ball.
3-0 to Spain. We've got 8 minutes remaining. Meyer on the far side has to go back. It's a shame, because it would have set up an exciting last 8 minutes or so here inside Berlin.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see that last few minutes with that scoreline, just to see what Croatia could have done, but eagle-eyed VAR.
So Croatia coming forward, and it's actually now being confirmed inside the stadium. The explanation, as we would outlined, the indirect free kick, and it was Perisic, number 14, encroaching into the area before the kick. So that has been now illustrated inside the stadium to all the supporters for confirmation of that decision. Brozovic steps forward, might have been used to the hand. Free kick for Spain. 7 minutes remain. Glorious evening, clear blue skies, and the daylight between Spain and Croatia will give them such a boost for what was always going to be a tough group. We talked about the importance of finishing top, and for Spain Bearing in mind they've got another tricky game against the defending champions. You'll hear live on Wednesday in Gelsenkirchen. Gives them a real lift at the start of their Euro campaign. Croatia downhearted, a little bit dispirited, trying to get forward with Pasalic. Plays the ball back. Petkovic, they've got two over on that far side, the left. Arms aloft was Perisic. Maya makes a darting run into the penalty area. Perisic with a shot, blocked. Croatia win it back through Sucic. He's going to shoot again from distance. Oh, that was almost spooned away by Unai Simon. Perisic, a good 35 yards out, struck it off his trusty left boot. And Unai Simon, with his body behind the ball, did enough to get it away.
Yeah, very rarely passage in that position there. Perisic, left foot or right foot, he'll cross it, he'll shoot, he'll get you an end product, most definitely. Rodri's down at the moment though, maybe a bit of cramp for Rodri. Got the armband on now, Morata's gone off.
Well, they're going to make a double change. It was going to be Alex Baena and Ferran Torres who's going to be coming on, but because of that injury there, they've actually changed it, and so Martin Zubamendi, who is another one of these players from Real Sociedad, 5 players in the squad from Real Sociedad, as many as Real Madrid have had in the last 12 major tournaments combined, which is a startling statistic when you think about it. But Zubamendi is going to be coming on to replace Rodri, and it was Alex Baena who was the player who had to be sacrificed, unable to come on, as Viva España rings around the end here in the Olympic Stadium away towards our left-hand side. So Zubamendi will replace Rodri in the midfield, and also Lamine Yamal, after becoming the youngest player at a European Championship, and what has been a very impressive performance as well from the 16-year-old. He comes off to be replaced by the former Manchester City man Ferran Torres.
Yamal's been outstanding down that right-hand side. Bag of tricks, lots of pace, good head on, young shoulders, seems to know the game defensively as well. He's happy to put a shift in. Really pleased for the kid, well done.
A number of the supporters inside the stadium now in this vast arena are just starting to drift towards the exits, because with 3.5 minutes remaining of normal time, the game is up for Croatia. Trailing by 3-0. These two meeting for a 4th consecutive Euros, and Spain are going to register a 3rd win out of those 4 meetings. They won 1-0 in the group stage in 2012, an exciting round of 16 game, last time out 5-3. Croatia's only success was in 2016. But for Spain, Croatia never really recovered from the 2 quick goals that they conceded in the first half. What was it? 2 goals in 3 minutes.
Yeah, not at all. They've kind of been on the back foot since then. They're not quite sure how to get through this Spanish organisation. Spain are kind of going into a 4-5-1. Lots of communication, very, very little gaps to play through. And what they're doing, the Spanish, they're forcing Croatia to go around the outside, but they haven't got any wide players at this present time or during the whole of the game, Croatia.
A smiling, a relaxed...
Yes.
Guillaume Balaguer has just joined us here.
Punch in the air.
There'll be no kicking of the chairs this evening, that is for sure, with 2.5 minutes remaining. Croatia just looking for a consolation. Stopped in the midfield by Zubamendi. Ball played forward now, and it's an opportunity for Spain to attack once again. And it's with Torres who gets the shot, charged down, behind it goes for a corner kick. Still they possess that threat on the counter.
Yeah, they're just playing the right passes at the right time. Croatia are obviously not in the positions they should be in because they're trying to get back into this game. And the Spanish at the moment are playing the way they want to play it, because they've been dominant through the whole of this game.
Leading 3-0, 90 seconds of normal time remain. They've got a corner kick. They're playing from right to left as we look, and in front of the bulk of the Spanish support in that bottom tier, all in red. In comes the corner kick, headed out, and it will be easily picked up by Dani Olmo for Spain. Back to Cucurella. His first competitive start is going to be a winning one, as he sees it back to Unai Simon. And if you exclude shootouts, the Spanish record in the Euros is a very impressive one. They've lost only 2 of their last 22 at the Euros. Croatia and Italy in 2016. Cucurella. Olmo lays it off. Foul from Croatia, from Pasalic, and that will be a free kick to Spain that's already been taken.
Yeah, there's a lot of care with the way that the Spanish are playing, the way they pass the ball to their teammate. Sometimes they'll pass it to feet where they know that they've got to pass it to another teammate. Sometimes they pass it in front of their teammate for them. They're getting it all right. It's all coming together for the Spanish side.
68,844 is the attendance inside the Olympic Stadium. Half of the venues, by the way, for these Euros are actually second division teams. I think that's a first for a tournament. Obviously the Olympic Stadium is the home for Hertha Berlin, but you've got Cologne, this one, Dusseldorf, Hamburg and Gelsenkirchen, where Schalke of course play. And it will also host Poland, Austria, Netherlands, Austria. Round of 16, a quarter-final, and then they'll get it time for the final on the 14th of July. And you think that at the last Euros, Spain lost to Italy in the semi-finals on penalties. They have been mightily impressive tonight.
Yeah, they haven't. They've just taken the wind out of Croatia's sort of sails, the way they scored their goals, and the dynamic finishing, the foreplay's been good. But for me, I know they've scored 3 goals, but out of possession is what's really impressed me about the Spanish. They've got it all right. They've been set up incredibly well tonight.
We're into 5 minutes of added on time on BBC Radio 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds, where those 3 first half goals, remember, only the 4th time in the history of the European Championship. It happened last night, it's happened again today, that a side has led 3-0 at the break. As Schüttelo leaves it for Brozovic, passes the ball in field, but they're playing in front of Spain. I mean, Spain it's comfortable for them. As now it's with Sucic, back it goes. Schüttelo inside the centre circle. And the army of Croatian support will trudge out of this impressive stadium, downhearted, and will have to console themselves in Berlin this evening. Pasalic, Ruiz, who's had an effective game, swung over the cross. Perisic climbs, heads it off target. Goal kick. Goal kick to Spain. Dion.
Yeah, it's great defending on that far post. Perisic is a lot taller than Carvajal on that far post, but Carvajal's experience, just getting his body in, just making sure that Perisic doesn't get a good head on it. He knows he's not going to win the header, but it's just that other side of the game that he's got abundance of experience there. The little right back, the captain, gets himself on the score sheet. What a goal, by the way, he scored. Absolutely fantastic finish.
Well, we're starting the game as how we ended it, with a terrific atmosphere inside the Olympic Stadium. The Spanish support celebrating to our right, to our left, but the Croatian support absolutely magnificent as a low ball goes behind and forced before a corner for Spain, as the flares are lit once again, because they might be down, but they're not out just yet. Almost in defiance, the whole Croatian support found their voices to try and lift the players who they worship, as the corner is taken short on this near side. 2 minutes of stoppage time here on 5 Live. Spain still lead 3-0. Zubamendi. Ruiz, left-footed, floats it forward. And that looping ball is gathered in by Livakovic, who throws it out to this near side. Maya takes it on the chest, runs forward, over the halfway line, into a shaft of sunlight, passes the ball forward. Stanisic, level with the penalty area. Cross blocked by Zubamendi. Picked up, and now by Spain with Olmo. Ball played over the top. Looking for the run of Oyarzabal, and then that will be a free kick for a foul on Schüttler. 3-0 Spain.
Yeah, even with a quick throw out from the keeper there, Livakovic, the Spanish players are sprinting past Croatians to get back into that shape. They know what they've got to do. They've been drilled before they've come into this competition. When you're out of possession, get back in your shape, force them to do something special to beat us. They haven't got anything special today, Croatia.
When you think back in the second half, there was that little bit of a scramble, an awkward moment for the Spanish defence, but that was probably their only scare in the second period. Croatia would be looking back at that Brozovic effort that was saved by Unai Simon, and also that angled effort from Carvajal down into the ground that Budimir couldn't put in at the far post. Had that gone in when they were only 2-0 down, but it was that goal from Carvajal that really did finish them off just before the half-time whistle.
Absolutely, but I've never seen a Spanish side defend like this. Lenormand and Nacho, I mean, they're high-fiving each other when they're getting a block in. You know, I have not seen that for a long time. Cucurella's putting his body on the line at left back. The captain's been outstanding again, pointing and making sure everybody's in the right position. But that elation to know that they haven't conceded a goal, it's very rare to see with the Spanish side.
Well, they certainly haven't missed the injured Aymeric Laporte as the final whistle sounds. And Spain are off to not just a winning start, but an impressive start. Having beaten Croatia by 3-0, all the goals in the first half. Morata, the captain, first Spanish player to score in 3 European Championships. Fabian Ruiz with a composed finish off his left foot 3 minutes later, and then that Carvajal pouncing from close range before half-time. In the second half, Croatia, through a penalty, had it ruled out after encroachment, but undoubtedly the best team won, and Spain, superb.
Yeah, absolutely superb, deserved the win, better football, more organised. Croatia had the ball, didn't do anything with it, didn't have the right shape in possession, didn't have the right shape out of possession. They just a little bit disjointed tonight, Croatia, even with all the experience in that midfield. I just believe that the Spanish players enjoyed this. You could see them enjoying themselves. They trusted each other. Rodri, again, outstanding.
Well, on the evidence of that 90 minutes, you certainly wouldn't rule them out for being back here in the final on July the 14th. It's finished in the Olympic Stadium. Spain 3, Croatia 0.
Let's bring Guillem Balaguer straight back into the conversation. I don't know what Spanish is for statement performance, but I've just watched one.
Yes. Do you remember how the Qatar World Cup started?
Oh, come on.
7-0 against Costa Rica, and we thought that we were going to conquer the world.
Croatia aren't Costa Rica.
No, that's very true. It's only 3-0, but I'm just looking at attempts at target, 5 per team. In the first half, 6 to 5 shots on goal, on target. Sorry, on goal. And what we saw was a very efficient Spain. Very, very efficient. But we conceded as well chances, and we needed Unai Simon to save us a couple of times, even saved a penalty. So I don't want to rain on your parade, but I just want to be a little bit cautious, because it was a very good Spain, yes, but I feel it could have gone a different way as well. Croatia have always played this game, haven't they? First 15 minutes, it was all about Spain. We stole the ball, we put the ball crosses into the box. That's a new thing. A lot of quick transitions, but then after minute 15 Croatia started controlling the game and keeping the ball and thinking that at some point something was going to happen. It's just that we were efficient, and 3 goals came before half-time. Bad. Let's wait.
Did you do what I did when Guillem looked at the stats and he said 5 shots on target? My eyes were drawn to the ball possession stats, because there was since we've mentioned it in commentary, Russia 2008 was the last time that Spain had won a game with less possession than their opponents. In 136 games, that's the first time it's happened.
Yeah, but that also says a very good thing about this Spain compared to, say, the Spain of Qatar, that was very dogmatic and one-dimensional. We can play different ways. That is, you can see it in every goal, basically. The first one was the first time that we stole the ball from the Croatians and they were disorganized, and it was a good pass from Fabian and Morata scored. Again, very efficient. Second goal, he was a midfielder creating havoc in the middle. Talent in the small spaces, we do have that. And third one was a kind of set piece with the assist from Lamine Yamal. So there are different layers. Two wingers, more damage from Lamine than from Nico Williams anyway. And even the substitutions, you take out Morata, it's all a knock, I feel. I don't think there's an injury there. And gets replaced by a false nine in Oyarzabal. So there are more layers to this Spain, yes.
Guillaume, what I've seen from this Spanish side, I've not seen for a long time. You know, bodies on the line, organised. The big thing for me, and I've said it all through commentary, the width that your wingers gave, you know, Williams in the first half. I know Olmo came on later on in the game, but Yamal as well. Just knowing what the manager wants from you and delivering. When they give the ball away, they got into an amazing shape very quickly. They looked very together, very organised. Aggression as well.
Yeah,
I've not seen this from a Spanish side for a long time.
Absolutely. I was hearing you talk at the end of the game, and I just couldn't agree more that the fact that without the ball, we have a plan, we have an intention. Without the ball, we want to be close to the person that's got the ball. And that, to me, was a bit worrying at the beginning when I saw so much running. And at half-time, you know the player that run the most? Pedri. So you think, okay, well, will he be fresh when he has the ball? And the answer is yes for 70 minutes, and then somebody else come in, and because there is that much difference between the best player and the worst player of Spain, they can also do something. So without the ball, fantastic. With the ball, very, very efficient. But I'll just throw a but.
I'll throw in another but. Which is, and it would have had absolutely no impact on the game, I don't think, but it might have had a little impact on the tournament if they'd missed Rodri for a game. I think Rodri's very unlucky not to get sent off. I understand the rule completely, which is denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity is not now a red card if you're trying to play the ball. Was Rodri trying to play the ball, or was he just trying to trip over Petkovic?
He was trying to, trip, and could have been a red. That's, remember, take a couple of steps back. Unai Simon just doing that thing that he does at least once every game of making a mistake, just relaxing. Okay, he was fantastic with it, saved the penalty, of course, as well. But it was a very big punishment. A yellow card to our centre midfielder, could have been a red, and a penalty for an action that the goalkeeper should have saved.
And Ian, just one on Croatia to finish. I think we've seen enough there, and they've got enough to give certainly Albania and Italy plenty of problems still.
Yeah, I think the beauty for Croatia is that they've got Albania next in the group. I think it would have been really tough for them to go against another heavyweight in Italy next up. So you'd think then they'd get 3 points on the board against Albania, which then sets up a terrific final game in Leipzig against Italy on the 24th, because by then they'll know how the group's like. So they've got to get the 3 points against Albania, but they'll know what the situation is by then, because obviously Spain and Italy would have played. So the picture will become a lot more clearer for Croatia. And also, they did have chances, particularly in the first half, they did have chances. Although, I mean, in commentary, I thought it should have been a red. And obviously, with the penalty then disallowed through VAR, had Rodri not tripped Petkovic, he just knocks the ball in. It's 3-1 with 8 minutes remaining, who knows?